Hello guys, welcome to my channel. By the way, if you think this is a dark video, it's not, it's just a blackout in Ukraine and another power outage. Now we will leave the apartment and it will be brighter. So in this video we are going to go to the store to see how much food costs as well as stop at a gas station. In Ukraine again increased prices for everything, namely for gas line, fuel, food, appliances, utility bills and so on. In addition, the exchange rate of the dollar to the hryvnia has increased. The hryvnia is a domestic currency of Ukraine, and now $1 is 40 hryvnias exactly. This is a historical record, and for comparison, before the full-scale invasion, it's a little more than 2 years ago. The rate was $1. It was 27 hryvnia. And of course, everything imported and not imported is tied to the exchange rate. Moreover, of course, Ukrainian products have also increased as many factories and fields were in the east of Ukraine and were want to mine or under occupation, and consequently the supply decreased. Now we often walk on the stairs because when there is no electricity, elevators also don't work. We also have an electricity stove in the house, so it doesn't work as well as a boiler that heats water. But the good thing is that we have water because as many houses there is no water when there is no electricity because above 10 floors water is pumped by pumps. So the people who live above are quite limited. Unlike old houses that are below 10 floors. For example, my husband's mom lives in an old house and there is both gas and water and she lives on a low floor. Since now it's daylight from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., of course there is much less inconvenience now than there was in the last blackout. Also, my husband and I have huge generators in our offices, Starlinks, and we go there when there is no light at home. By the way, my husband has a work day today, so he went to work and I picked up my sister and came to the store with her to shoot a video for you. We've come to a store called Metro. In general, this store was conceived as a wholesale store, so if you buy a lot of goods, it's very profitable. There are products and home goods and decor and other things. But it also works in retail and prices as in any other store. Here they test different innovation things, like you can independently scan everything you put in your cart while you walk around the store, and when you leave just wait your cart and then just pay. Regular self-checkouts are available in almost all chain supermarkets in Ukraine, and of course a regular cash register with people. Here we have two in Ukraine. I suggest that you and I collect the car, and at the end I will show the total receipt. And while we are assembling it, I will tell you the prices for basic products. By the way, regarding alcohol, you asked in the previous video, alcohol is sold in all grocery stores and you can buy it after 11 a.m. and before 7 p.m. Of course, if the cashier has any doubts that you are 18 years old, he will ask for ID or passport. At self-checkout, the employee also confirms that you are 18 years old. The sale of alcohol in Ukraine is allowed from that age. Back to the groceries. A pack of ordinary paper napkins costs $1.50. A pack of waffle tubes, I don't know how many grams there are, costs about $5. Also, that's about a kilo. Toilet paper for 4 rolls costs about $2. A small package of cereal with toppings costs about $1.50. A large one about $4. Grits like rice or buckwheat cost about $1.50 to $2 now. In general, I remind you that 40 hryvnia is $1. You also asked about payment. In Ukraine, in big cities, most people use credit cards. But of course, you can also pay in cash. If we talk about me, I only use my phone. I pay with NFC, and I have cash only to leave tips at gas stations, cafes, couriers, and so on. Delivery guy. And yes, in Ukraine, it's customary to tip couriers, delivery guy, for example, when they bring me bottled water or groceries. Sometimes I use delivery, it's convenient, fast, and from a certain amount free of charge. Usually, tips to delivery guy and gas station attendants are from 5 to 20 hryvnias, but in cafes and restaurants from 10% of the bill. But it's not mandatory, you can leave nothing. If we talk about me again, I rarely go to cafes or restaurants, especially in recent years, and leave about 15% if I liked everything. And if I didn't like, don't leave a tip at all. Back to the groceries. I take frozen nuggets and pancakes. A 6 pack of pancakes with meat or cottage cheese cost about $1.50, and nuggets that are 2 kilograms cost about $4 if you take several packages. I remind you that in these stores there is a rule: the more you take, the cheaper. Usually prices are distributed for one package of something, then from 3, and then from 10 packages. So the more packages you take, the cheaper the cost per package. Lightly salted fish like salmon, trout cost about $9 per 300 grams. Eggs now cost about $1.50 for 10 eggs. A kilogram of chicken fillet is about $5, and a kilogram of pork, if we are talking about fillet, costs about $8. A pack of spinach or salad leaves costs about $1.50 as well. One avocado costs about $1. A kilogram of apples costs from 50 cents to $2 depending on the variety. Of course, we have seasonal products that are much cheaper in summer than in winter, and vice versa. For example, oranges and bananas are the cheapest in Ukraine in winter, and strawberries and other berries in summer. Such a package of tomatoes here about 400 grams cost about from $3 to $4. And you and me will already go to the checkout. But of course, we'll go for some sweets. In principle, we didn't get much, but more than we planned. In general, this is a common story for most people who go to the store without lists. I often make lists when I go to the store precisely so that among everything I don't forget to buy what I really need. Actually, do you write lists before going to the store? Please write in the comments. Sweet bears like Twix, Snickers, Kit Kat in standard size cost from 50 cents to $1.50. Here we have self-service cash desks, then regular cash desk, and the one we're going to. They are tests, so people are still afraid to use them. That's the way it's with everything new. By the way, to buy food and other things in this store, you need to have a Metro card. Without it, you will not be able to punch products. It can be issued at the entrance through a mobile application or just ask people in line online to swipe their store card, usually people have no problem agreeing. In total, our check came out to almost 2,500 hryvnias. In dollars, it's about $62. All in all, these purchases will be enough for 3, maximum 4 days. Now we are going with you to the gas station, and on the way we will look at the incredible, beautiful, green and sunny Kiev. So we arrived at a gas station called UPG. In general, there are a lot of gas stations in Ukraine, but there's the main one, the quality of fuel gas line, in which is considered to be the best. The UPG, WOG, and the most expensive, Sakar. And yes, the prices for fuel are slightly different, but in general, plus or minus the same. Now we drive a car with gas, and it's super because gas is almost twice as cheap as fuel. But before the full-scale war in Ukraine, gas and fuel prices were twice as cheap as they are now. In general, our gas stations are always clean. Here you can buy a snack, coffee, tea, exercise, and of course go to the restroom. Some gas stations like this one have their own mini cafes. The restrooms are also quite clean, and it's a regular gas station for Ukraine. So I filled up with gas about a sort of a tank and paid about $25. Also, I gave another 20 hryvnia to the gas station attendant. By the way, there are gas station attendants at all gas stations in Ukraine. You don't need to do anything yourself, just come up to pay, and at some gas stations right next to the column there is a QR code by which you can pay without getting out of the car. But of course, if you want, you can easily insert the gas line gun yourself. I don't know what the correct name of these things is in English. Also, often at the gas stations, you can be offered to wash the windows while the car is being refueled, and it's free of charge. Speaking of prices, we usually fill up with either regular 95 fuel or gas. We have both gas and fuel in our car now, and these prices are per liter. This is me stopping by the house in the evening, and our lights were out again, so we went for a walk. By the way, I dropped Lisa off on the way home. My husband came home from work, and we had a snack in the dark and are going for a walk until the lights come back on. I'll show you what different neighborhoods look like when there is no electricity. While we're walking around, I'll answer a few of your questions from previous videos. The first of them is how it's from an emotional point of view to live in a country from which you cannot leave because men are not allowed to go abroad, and to know that at any moment a missile can fly into your home or office where you or your relatives are. Actually, my answer it's a twofold feeling, and in general, the question is not simple. The emotional state of absolutely all people who are in Ukraine is not stable. Firstly, you know that missiles fly, and secondly, you face things you have never faced before: deaths, funerals of loved ones, destruction of houses, cars, material losses, and so on. From our surroundings, from our acquaintances, someone is constantly dying on the front. At the same time, on the other hand, you realize that the state is killing the economy, adopting super weird laws for ordinary people, and corruption is flourishing. Besides, for the last half a year, most Ukrainians have started to realize that now the war has turned into a very strange direction and is going nowhere. Of course, we realize that the number of military casualties is much higher than the official number, but on the other hand, we have learned to appreciate the most important thing and live in the moment, doing everything we can at the moment in order to stay healthy mentally and physically and be able to help our loved ones. Those viewers who have been on the channel for a long time now that know that my husband and I have two of our loved ones who are completely dependent on us, including my husband's granddad who suffered 2 strokes 12 years ago and since then has not been able to live this life on his own without help. Of course, here on the channel you see me in a good mood, not when I have nervous breakdowns, tantrums, when I faint, and so on. In general, life is more in the moment because being in Ukraine, it's simply impossible to make long-term plans as I have done all my life. But there are some goals, plans, dreams for the next month. There is a family and there is a desire, excuse me, not to fuck up our life as much as possible. So thanks for watching.